All right, everybody. Enough of you have written in over the last year or so asking about this saxophone, this alto saxophone that I'm playing, that I thought I'd give a quick rig rundown for you. Hey, my name is Dave. Before we get into business here, I teach people how to play the saxophone, and if you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. If you ever have any comments or suggestions for future programs, leave them in the comments below. I always try to get back to everybody who writes, and you can also reach me at my email contact, which I'll post in the description below. So, the alto sax. This is a Conn 6M, as in Mary, 6M. The serial number on the back of the instrument indicates that it came off the assembly line in 1946. Conn 6M. Some people call this the Naked Lady Conn. There's no naked lady here. I did look. There's no naked lady, but there's a woman looking out of a window. Can you see her there? All right, there's a little woman's face looking out of a window. And as nearly as I can tell, she's got clothes on. I don't know if there are any naked lady Conns or how that whole thing got started. But anyway, the 6M is... I didn't actually go looking for this horn, but I'm so grateful that I have it. It's easily the finest saxophone that I've ever owned. The backstory is that one of my students had a bunch of alto saxes. I think he was buying them and storing them for resale later, but he had a lot of them, a closet full of them. And I said, I really need an alto sax, and I had some things that he wanted. I had a righteous bass clarinet that sat in my closet. And I think I had a full resto C melody saxophone. And he wanted those instruments. And so we made a swap, and I ended up with this horn. This got a couple of interesting features I want to show you. One of them down here in the bottom stack, you've got this, and this really was irritating in the beginning. You've got this G sharp trill key. Notice it moves the G sharp. Yeah, you've got your normal left pinky G sharp, the pinky table over here, and we'll come back to that, okay? But it's got this wild and crazy G sharp trill key down here, and I, basically self-taught, and I play fat-fingered. I'm lazy, and I was always bumping this G sharp key in the beginning, and it would get to be so annoying that I would put this thing back in the closet for weeks on end and think, what am I doing? I can't play this. The Conn 6M. But, I eventually got over it. It's set up otherwise in the way that all alto saxophones are pretty well set up, except for this pinky table. This takes a little while to get used to as well. C sharp, B, and then the big flapper makes B flat here. Kind of an odd shape, not nearly as, what's the word we use, ergonomic as horns that would come after, especially in the Selmer series. But they didn't really make a lot of these Conn 6M. The 6M series, well, they produced them for a number, but they didn't crank out as many as they did, say, the Selmers. The Mark 6s, there are a lot more Mark 6s than there are 6Ms. They also made 10M, that's the tenor sax series, and 12M. Now, I'm not a historian at all by any stretch of the imagination in terms of these horns or what they do. So let's get back to the discussion here. The neck, I'm going to take this off so I can show you this. It's got this, how many of you have asked what the hell is that? Well, this is the micro tuner. Yes, it turns left and right, and it moves a mechanism inside of the neck, underslung octave key. And this is a very sturdy and exotic piece of equipment. Yeah, there's a cork. I'm using, by the way, a Meyer 6M. And this is one of the newer Meyer ligatures, all right? So I'll pull it off to show you. You got a cork just like anybody else, but you butt the mouthpiece up right up to the micro tuner and use this to change tuning. And it works, it actually works. The neck is, like I said, a pretty exotic piece of equipment here. And can you see inside there? There's another tube inside. It's like this double tube construction. This part of the horn fits up inside, and it's a really snug and tight fit. And I often don't tighten it down very much, but You know, the tone of this horn finally won me over. I should get this on straight. The tone finally won me over. Another interesting thing about the Conn, about the 6M, was that it didn't like every mouthpiece that I tried on it. And I had, I had a few of them. And I tried a lot of them and found that the Meyer works best. Of the Meyers, the 5 really makes this horn shout and sound wonderful. It's a little bit smaller. If I had another horn here for comparison, I could show you. The Conn 6M, a little bit of a smaller bore, a little bit of a smaller horn, a little bit lighter. Alto saxes, a little more modern alto saxes, were maybe a little bit larger as they developed the horn. And I think that in and of itself is interesting as well. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not really a sax historian or an engineer. More information about the neck here and the horn can be found a very, very educational website put together. Well, it's not a website, it's a YouTube channel. And the guy's name is Matt Storer, and he repairs all kinds of vintage horns. And I will link to him. In fact, he does a whole bit on this neck and how it's built and put together. Would I recommend? Yeah, I would recommend a 6M to anybody. There's a certain range of years that are better than others. They say that the horns that have the rolled tone holes, mine, I'll hold it up so you can see that. This one has rolled tone holes all the way through. They say that they're better. They say that they're better. I don't actually know that. Again, like I said, I'm not really a horn historian or one of those kind of hornophiliacs. Is that a word? I'm not really that guy. I just got this horn. I was offered, my student had a lot of horns, and I picked this one, not really knowing. And I think the reason why I picked it was that I started out on a Conn when I was 11 years old. I had a Conn, a director, a shooting star. And I think that those were made in the 50s and the 60s, and I think that they're a better horn than maybe perhaps we thought they were at the time. But anyway, I digress. Would I recommend this? Yeah, if you're in the market for a vintage horn, as my friend Archie Thompson said, these horns come to us from the golden age of saxophones, back when the manufacturers were really just trying to build the best horns. They weren't really cost cutting. They were just out to build the best possible horns that they could build. And the Conn company really, I think, led the pack. Marvelous horns from back in the day. King, Busher, but the Conn. I love this horn. The action is incredible. I wish you were here in this room. You could actually just feel how fast this horn plays. Beautiful tone, intonation, all the above, okay? Reverb has a few of them on, for sale online, and of course you can find them on eBay. And I think you're looking at anywhere probably for a reasonably put together, 1,500 to 2,500 is I think the going rate. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's about right for a Conn 6M. And like I said, this horn cuts. On Monday nights, I will sit in with a Latin jazz group, and there's a couple trumpets and trombone, a tenor sax guy, and I don't need a microphone. With this Meyer 5, the Meyer 5, and I've gone back to a cane reed. I'm using a Rigatti 2.5, and this lig, I can cut. Like I said, I don't really need a microphone. So it gives me a full range, just absolute balance. It's a little bit smaller. It just cuts the room, but it also lets me lay back and play as quietly as I want to play. Gives me the more I play it, the better I get at playing it. How does that sound? All right, so the Conn 6M. All right, this is what I'm talking about today. All right, again, any questions? Anything you want to ask me? Any questions or suggest future episodes here on the channel? I'm always open to that. I'm glad you're here. Play some saxophone. Be good to each other. Have fun. and I'll catch you here again next time. Thank you so much.